Hello ladies and gentlemen. Hi boys and girls. Have you all finished your board exams? Awaiting for your results? Your DBTV channel is bringing a new program, Crossroads, a special interview given by a number of experts from various fields to load you all with lots of career tips. Have you ever thought, why should I do the same thing what everyone else is doing? Do you have a passion towards something? Because passion is the difference between choosing a job and choosing a career. Passion is something that comes along with you forever. So, discover your passion. Did you think of a day without internet, mobile, WhatsApp, Facebook? What's it all about? It's nothing but IT. The new millennium has brought a tremendous revolution in information technology. The information and communication technology has lots of scope in the future if you have passion towards IT. Well, with these few insights of career in IT, let's start today's program. Today we have amongst us Mr. Jervis Pereira, an eminent personality who is the director in Goa IT Innovation Center, popularly known as JITIC. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Chitra.
Sir, can you introduce yourself to start off with?
Certainly. My career has been vast and varied. Across the last decade and a half, I've worked into 8 different sectors, including construction, finance, call centers, training, recruitment, social entrepreneurship, and now IT.
Okay.
So my career has spanned across 2 states and 2 countries. So I was working in Goa, working in Hyderabad, working in Qatar, and then of course various places across India.
Amazing.
Thank you. That's a little about myself. What I do right now is I help people start IT businesses. We have an incubator, which is Goa's first incubator, JITIC.
Well.
It started in 2011.
Okay.
Right, and it's based in Berna.
Okay.
It's housed at the GCCI building.
Well.
What we do is we provide new startups with a safe environment for them to begin a business.
Okay.
You see, in schools and colleges, you don't get training on how to be an entrepreneur.
Well.
You get training on specific skills.
Yes.
So you could learn how to develop websites, you could learn how to become a CA, you could learn how to become a lawyer.
Well.
But none of these courses actually teach you how do you turn that into a successful business.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
So can you tell us some objectives, what you have?
Right. Okay, so where JITIC is concerned, JITIC not only wants to be Goa's premier IT incubator,
Well.
however, that is one particular goal. The end game is the entire state gets a benefit
Okay.
from developing IT as a business. You see, it's a clean business, it's a
Okay.
green business.
Mhm.
It's one that has relatively low investment,
Okay.
capital expenditure. So you could start without having a lot of physical space. All you need is a good amount of cyberspace.
Okay.
Right?
So what's your vision of JITIC?
My vision for JITIC is to have JITIC be a beacon for IT in Goa.
Okay.
When I say a beacon for IT in Goa, it should be looked at as one of the places that helps you get either information, assistance, and everything related to IT. You'd be able to find that through a JITIC window.
Okay. So how could it help tomorrow's Goan youth, especially when we consider, because our viewers are mostly youth. So how could it help them?
Okay. So how would JITIC help you? Let's say that you have an idea related to technology, related to IT. In any given field, when you decide that you have something that's special, you want to talk to somebody about it. You want to find out, hey, does this idea make sense? Can I turn this into a practical product? Can I turn this into a project, right?
Well.
So when you have that thought, pick up the phone, send me an email, and you can ask somebody at JITIC to be able to help you translate that project, that idea, into a viable business. And we can show you how it's done.
Okay. So do you all give any training or awareness program how to start up this?
JITIC as an incubator has an advantage of being affiliated with many organizations that do that. So one of the organizations is iCreate, which actively works to train people on how to start businesses.
Okay.
So it's your business training skill,
Okay.
which goes across the board,
Okay.
because the principles for business is universal.
Okay.
All right. The other organization we're linked with very closely is GEMS.
Oh.
Now, if you're a business person and you've started your business and you decide, oh no, I need help, I need somebody to help me really, who's in depth in that business,
Yeah.
then GEMS has a series of mentors that can do that,
Okay.
right? They can help you.
So you will be going to schools or colleges and do give, or you will be organizing it that people can attend, who all can attend?
Okay, so who all can attend programs like these? Well, we already do training programs in schools and colleges.
Okay.
Where the iCreate team is concerned.
Yeah.
So they do it primarily for people who are close to graduation,
Okay.
right? But they're even open to doing it with students who would, from 12th standard or students from their first year. Usually what
Okay.
happens is students from 12th standard are more focused on clearing their board exams.
Yes.
So they have limited time to do anything else. Fair enough. So when they get into the system a little longer, we are able to train them on the business basics.
Okay.
From there, they're able to start a business themselves.
Well, can you tell us some of the supporting features that GTIC is providing?
Okay. So JITIC gives you first, when I said a safe environment,
Yes.
one of the key things is to deal with finance.
Okay.
Because the way that the system is built today is not very friendly towards giving finance to service businesses,
Well,
right? Even where IT is concerned,
yes.
IT is a business that has intangible products.
Yes.
Now,
Sure.
Because it has intangible
That's
products.
the main thing. Like I think intangible people cannot evaluate what's the actual work being involved in it.
Precisely, because you can't see
Yes,
it, you can't
physically
physically
see
touch
it.
it.
Yes.
Right. So because the product is like that, banks are a little hesitant,
Hesitant. Okay.
right,
Well,
to give you loans which you'd be using
Yes.
for buckets that they don't really take. So buckets, when I say, I mean things like paying your staff, buying some of your licenses and so on. They don't look at those as physical,
Yes.
tangible products, right?
True.
And with it all due respect to banks, that's how the system is built for them. So how JITI can help them, how JITI can help people is by showing them how they can utilize the funds that they already have.
Okay.
How you can make that, how you can stretch that. So that aspect of business. we can
Means
mentor.
what they have right now on hand.
Right, how you can make that work. If you have an idea that requires funding,
Okay.
right, when you have a concept, you're able to put it together into almost
Yes.
a good product, and
Yes.
you need funding for that,
Yes.
then JITI could be able to help you through various angel investors, venture capitalists.
So you have
Good luck.
tie-ups with many of the people.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So you will be, if you could guide them out,
Mhm.
so surely I think these schemes or loans could help the benefit the youth.
Certainly,
Okay,
certainly.
well.
The good thing is that about businesses is businesses are primarily age agnostic,
Oh,
right?
that's what is our thing next to ask you, like, is there
Right.
any age limit to start off with? Because there is no upper limit, I think. So what
Certainly.
could be the minimum age limit to start off with? Do you all look out for any graduates, or you feel like high secondary is enough? What's exactly that you would be looking out like?
In all honesty, if I say that they can start younger than high secondary, the school education system might be a
Okay.
little upset with me.
Okay.
Because,
But I think
yeah.
that might be a very rare case that few students will be already focused.
Yes.
So how could this be helping?
Okay, so let me come back to a little about how JITI can support you.
Yes.
When we talk about, so this is one aspect in terms of finance, right?
Yeah.
So a penny saved is a penny earned. Now at JITI, what we do is we provide you low-cost infrastructure,
Okay.
okay, which is actually high-end.
Okay.
So you could rent out a seat at JITI, which will enable you to free electricity, your telephone bills, it covers your internet bills,
Right.
right, and refreshments at the office,
Okay.
okay? And you only pay 2,000 rupees per month
As a rent.
as rent for that one seat,
Well.
okay?
Okay,
So
so
that's very affordable.
There's a minimum space provided there,
Yes.
infrastructure.
You have a desk which is enough for you to put a desktop, a laptop, a printer on,
Well.
right? Comfortable cabin,
Well.
okay? The facility is housed in Verna at the GCCI building,
Well.
right? Which is one of the key organizations that started JITIC. So the Goa Chamber of Commerce, along with the Department of Industries, Trade and Commerce,
Yes.
created an MOU and said we need to have an incubator to support IT in Goa.
Yeah.
And
So
that's how
they were
JITIC was
the
formed.
people to start this entity.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well.
So JITIC, GCCI offers a lot of support on them because they also help their members who are there among their members are able to assist, startups in any way that they can.
Do you all provide any technical support to these budding entrepreneurs?
So where technical support is concerned, we look at specific cases. And
Okay.
one of our tie-ups is with not only some of the large names that are here.
Okay.
So we also have the Microsoft BizSparks as one part of our program. They're
Okay.
very keen to support people. The other one is with Google. So
Okay.
one of the key representatives of Google is in Goa.
Okay,
One of
that's
the key
nice to
representatives.
hear.
Yeah.
Such
Likewise,
a brand name.
And Android.
Okay.
So we have a Google boy and Android man. Google boy is Jonathan Pereira. Android man is Prajot Mainkar.
Yes,
right?
it's popularly known to
Pop-
people.
Exactly.
Mm.
So they're very keenly associated with JITIC. And since JITIC has built a base with establishing the IT community in Goa,
Well,
right? We constantly interact with a lot of programs. So when training and technical support is concerned, if we have a group, we are able to get them the training that they want.
okay, well. So I think about, I don't know how many of the viewers will be knowing like about how many IT companies will be in Goa.
Right.
So some might be thinking even it's a one-digit number because it's not been known to many of the people.
Right.
So can you tell us like approximately how many IT companies are there in Goa, including your startups also?
Okay. So initially, before I joined JITIC in 2014, right?
Oh.
And before that, when I asked around for some of the numbers of how many IT companies are there in Goa, some of the official records that existed were exactly like you said. They only had single digits, right? The truth is that number goes to triple digits.
That is what is
Right.
surprising as we hear, like
Right.
we have crossed already hundreds or 200s might
Exactly.
be.
Somewhere close to 250 is the unofficial number. We have connected with over 150 IT companies,
Okay.
including the ones at the incubation centers.
And that is what I wanted to know,
Yeah.
like how many of them are actually associated with JITIC?
Okay. So when you say associated, if you talk about those that have graduated from JITIC,
Yes.
because JITIC will give you your services can house you as an incubator for a maximum of 2 years.
2 years,
Right.
okay.
So for those that have graduated right now, the number is 17. Those 17 companies have provided roughly 120 jobs,
Well,
Right.
employment.
employment.
Okay.
And this is just since it began in 2011.
It started
Yeah.
from 2011, you're talking.
Right,
Okay.
so
So just a
2011.
span of 5 years.
Right. Less than that, as a matter of fact, 2015. Now,
Yes,
more companies
actually
keep
we
coming
started,
in,
yes,
right?
16.
So when we say affiliated with JITIC, since JITIC has tried to outreach to a large number of startups that are there,
Well,
one of the things that we did was we started getting everybody on the same platform.
okay.
Because
So
we-
in what terms you mean to say same level?
So at the same level. So JITIC started doing in 2013 when the previous director was there. He started this unconference meeting.
Okay.
Okay, an unconference meeting is where people get together. You have a speaker that will speak about one particular subject that is of interest to the group.
Okay.
Okay, and at that meeting, you can share ideas, exchange information, and you definitely will network.
Okay.
Right.
So this will be organized by JITIC
This is organized by JITIC. We do it once a month.
once a month.
Once a month. Now, through that association with JITIC, we started, expanding the scope of what we had done.
Okay.
So we started more of a structured networking where people were made to interact with each other. So at
Okay.
one meeting, in a regular meeting, you'd meet about 3 or 4 people. In this meeting, you meet at least 14.
Well, so is it something that Tech Friday is happening? We heard about it.
Exactly.
So is it that same thing what you're referring to?
Exactly. So
Okay.
Tech Fridays is the program that we run.
Okay, because to hear about this, it looks like nice to hear. Is it entertainment or what it is happening, or it's a combination of both technical and entertainment stuff going on there? And who and all will be meeting over there?
So primarily, we've opened up Tech Friday to people who are either IT professionals or people who run IT businesses.
Well,
Okay, and the reason we did that was so that they could come together at a common platform. The more we know about what are the issues that are faced by the community, the IT
Yeah.
community,
Yeah.
the more we were able to help target that, because there's no official number.
Right.
If there's no official number, then there aren't a lot of strong decisions that can be taken to help a community, right? So, for example, if let's take an educational institution.
Yeah.
Let's say that on paper you have only 10 students who apply for a course,
Yes.
right? So then the institution would wonder, hey, what, does it make sense to run this course for a year? But let's say that there are people who were not aware that that course existed, right?
Yes.
And then now your interest number goes to 100.
Yes.
So it makes completely different sense. So you can
That's
say,
true.
I want to change the registration date, let more people take up
Yes.
the course.
That flexibility is given by always any affiliation centers.
Precisely.
Yes. So can anyone, or would you help that people wants to watch and what's happening in Tech Friday, or can you all let us know, like, is there any way that our institute can be sending some few students to attend these programs to know at least, because we have entrepreneurship development as a elective course for
Right.
BCA. So just to know, like, what's exactly this entrepreneurs will be talking over there, or what's the discussion happening there?
I can do one better. So one of the programs that, it said that if Muhammad cannot go to the mountain, peace be upon him, that the mountain should come to Muhammad, right?
Sure.
Okay. So what we did last year was we had the JITIC Roadshow, right?
Okay.
The IT Roadshow was where JITIC took a number of IT entrepreneurs
Then.
and went and visited colleges across Goa.
Then.
Our focus was for IT colleges per se,
Okay.
but there's no reason that we can't come to Don Bosco's.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what we do is we take a group of around 3 or 4 or even 5 entrepreneurs, let them come, interact with the students, talk about what they do as a business,
Well.
talk about
So we
some
can
of the
organize
projects.
basically in our campus also.
Certainly.
Well,
You don't have to wait for a Tech Friday.
that's correct. So can you just tell us, like, how the IT can be viewed in future?
Mhm.
So are there any scope
Okay.
from down, say, another 10 years from now?
There is, to put it like that would be false on my part to say that, hey, we have a vision that Goa is going to be, the next Bangalore, the next Hyderabad when it comes to IT.
Well,
Goa's unique IT perspective is one where you have high levels of innovation,
well,
very high levels of innovation. So if you are a product of an educational institution purely looking at what's in your books, then I'm afraid you might not, absolutely not, be suitable for what is going to happen with IT in Goa.
well,
So I'm going to challenge you as a student, right, and you as an institution,
well,
okay, to produce some of your brightest minds without having to force you to think, but relax and think. Think and innovate. Goa's strength will be in innovation. Technological innovation, IT innovation, process innovation. Now the beauty is, most people don't give us credit for being, fantastic when it comes to innovating, right? But Goans have excelled in so many fields.
yes,
Right.
that's certainly, it's
Okay?
true.
When it comes to art, when it comes to architecture,
Well,
and the thing is, we seem to forget
Yes.
that there is a correlation between art, mathematics, and engineering.
yes,
All right?
Yes.
It allows for holistic education.
Yes.
So when you look at the great inventors,
Yes.
I'm talking about Leonardo da Vinci, I'm talking about Michelangelo,
amazing.
right? What did they do? They were artists, they were sculptors, they were innovators, they were mathematicians,
Well,
right? So that holistic stuff exists here in Goa.
well,
Right.
that's true, I think, because which is there not in many of the states. Because there's a perception, or it's true, I don't know. Generally, people say like the south, towards South India,
Correct.
people are very good in technical,
Correct.
but they are missing their communication skill. I think our Goans are much blessed with that when IT career is concerned, especially because this is what we get the feedback. And when placements are companies are coming in,
Right.
there are lots of scope, and they do certainly visit every year once in Goa,
Right.
with one main perception saying that your students, Goan students, are always unique.
Mhm.
So it's better that we can train them even if they are lacking in IT,
Yes.
and we can give the training.
Yes.
But it's very difficult to taking a technical known person and
Mhm.
teaching them the allied resources or allied requirements for them.
Very true.
So I think that way is what you're meaning it, like innovation. And Goan students are always blessed, I would say, to
Certainly.
be the creators, any field that they choose it. That's
Most
true. Yes.
Most certainly.
Yeah. So can you just tell us, like, if what way that GTIC would be helping a budding entrepreneur? Because I think you all are specially meant for budding entrepreneur.
All right. We look at budding entrepreneurs, yes, as GTIC scope. So let's say that you have a student who, starts looking at one basic IT area to start up as a business, right?
Well,
So for a basic skill, somebody from maybe a BCA
well,
could learn how to either develop apps, video and animation, editing as well, or say even website development.
designing, website designing and
Website
development. Well,
Some of the companies in Goa have a very high demand for website designing.
exactly, because now we have both MCA and BCA.
Right.
There's a lots of companies coming in for that, and
Right.
we were easily able to place all our students for internship. We got 100% internship in our master's
Congratulations.
degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one area like people want these type of students who are
Right.
good at web development, designing, as well as like there's other perspective of designing.
Mhm.
So like desktop publishing, those areas are also, they are looking out for the bachelor students.
Certainly.
I think that is also one way helping. Especially startups have taken many of the students
And
this
they
time.
would. And they would. You see, BCA students comprise around 600 graduates every year. So from a
Yes,
total of
yes.
1,200 that are in any way related to IT, you have around 600 that come out of computer science, MCA, MSc IT, and engineering and
Probably
computers.
Bs, yeah,
Right?
B in ITs and computers.
Correct.
Yes.
So you have these amount that are directly employable, absorbable into the IT industry,
Right.
right? But BCA students still need more specific training to get into
Yes.
those same positions.
Yeah.
However, with what they learn,
Yes.
they still have an advantage in certain niche areas,
Yes.
right? Now, how do we develop those niche areas?
Well,
If there is a person that is, or if there is a cluster of people, that model itself can start working. Now, you have an option of being a freelancer.
yes.
You have an option of being a
That was
part-timer.
much needed actually. So many
Right.
students have been taken as freelancers.
True.
Yeah.
And there is a market for freelancers as well. There's one of the Goa IT professionals crew. One of the members there, Ms. Vinisha Gauss, has actually tried to organize now getting more freelancers to come in.
Okay.
Right. So, as somebody who was working with a number of companies, decided that, hey, you know what, I want to take projects at my own pace. Fine. So long as you meet your deadline, there's no reason that you have to go all the way to an office to work.
That's true. That's one advantage with IT, I think. Students are always no need for any formal things to be happening.
Exactly.
They can be at their desk and doing their work and earn it. That's one thing I think good about IT.
True. You don't need a geographical presence. You need a cyberspace presence.
Yes,
right?
cyberspace. Sir, can you just tell us what are the qualities a student or a budding entrepreneur should possess? So from where he'll get that light, okay,
Mhm.
I'm good at entrepreneur. Or these are the qualities that I should be having to become, if at all they have a passion towards entrepreneur.
I think you can become an entrepreneur. One of the first things you need is passion, right? You need to be clear about what you're thinking, but you need to be driven also
That is true.
for success.
Things should be interesting for them.
Right. So you need to be driven to success. You need to take failure with a pinch of salt, because just because you fail at one thing, it's not the end. It's actually your next step to go forward.
I think most
Right.
of the successful persons have told the same thing. I'm not a complete graduate. I was a
Right.
dropout of a graduate and all.
Right, and that's bound to happen. That's bound to happen. I mean, if you look at Bill Gates, you look at Steve Jobs,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
These are classic cases,
Yes,
right?
so
But
might
they
be
are
one among the many
true.
probably.
But you
successful
also
persons.
have people who have dropped out, decided to try entrepreneurship and said, "This is not for me. I should go back to school." Right?
Okay.
Now these are the
So-
stories you don't hear about.
Okay, so that's majority probably.
Right. So there's two parts to balance, and it's really dependent on the student.
Okay.
So one part is that I can study and I can achieve success by getting good grades.
Okay.
Okay, and that makes you a successful person.
Yes.
And there's another person who, for them, going through this particular format of education that we have
Yes.
is not 100% suitable.
Yes.
So they might score lower marks,
Yes.
right? But they would still have drive.
Yes.
You'll then have the third category who says, hey, you know what, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs dropped out, I'm going to drop out as well,
Yes.
I can be a success. Now that's fine.
That may not be 100% true for him.
Exactly, but it might not be relatable to that specific student because
Yeah.
he might lack, he or she might lack the passion or the drive to see something to its logical conclusion.
Well,
All right?
that's true.
Right.
So that's what we do here. Some things like, vacation classes we do conduct.
Correct.
So to bridge the gap between the academics
Mhm.
as well as the industry needs.
Right.
So in the vacations, we do organize some classes for web designing, web development,
Wonderful.
apps.
Okay.
Android is in market.
Yes.
So we do conduct these type of courses so that, we make them to do the academic projects
Mhm.
in the platform that they have learned. So it's like two-in-one benefit for the students that he
Awesome.
learned also something
Yeah.
that is needed by the industry. So I think we cannot blame curriculum or the standards that is put up by the university. It's always like we also can learn
Right.
apart from what is there in the curriculum.
Certainly.
Anybody can do
Yeah.
it, I think.
Precisely that. See, there's no question of blame to any side.
Exactly.
We have a particular system. That system has worked for a large majority.
That is true.
Right?
And to say very frankly, as far as Goa University is concerned, especially, because maybe the one benefit is, I think so, it's geographically a small space.
Yes.
Probably that might be, according to me,
Correct.
is well advanced like in changing the curriculum also.
Okay.
Because it's not like very old traditional thing that I'm doing it, carrying it for decades together.
All right.